What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Catacombs. So, I came across this clip from a podcast with Paul Pierce on it. I mean, he's been making the rounds. He's been going viral with a couple of his clips with this show that he's doing. Talking about relationships. That's all the rage these days. These podcasts are all about relationships. You know, I make a couple of videos about relationships, but goddamn, how many times are you going to ask the same type of question? So what kind of guys do you like? What kind of women do you like? And what's the non-negotiables? And what's a red flag and things like that? But, you know, everybody has, I guess, a unique perspective on it. And this woman here in the clip that I'm going to show in a moment, she had an interesting take. I haven't really heard anybody say it like this, especially when it comes to religious people. And I have to admit that this is something that I have been feeling myself about dealing with a religious woman. I'm not a religious man, so it is a bit of a difference in mindset and things like that, especially as an older man myself. You know, when you see women that you know what they used to do, you know how they used to be and behave, you know how they used to engage in degenerate activities and, you know, sexually, you know what they used to do. And all of a sudden I'm a religious now. And then they start talking about God every which way, you know, conveniently it begins to happen, you know, after the age of like 28, 30. By 35, they're fully in. You know, it's really interesting to watch in real time. I used to hear the stories, but as I've gotten older and I've seen the women that I've, you know, been in my 20s with and going into my 30s and mid 30s, like, yeah, not she, but they, women, they they follow a pattern. It's very interesting to see and watch it in real time. But this woman here suggests for her, a religious man is a non-negotiable or like a red flag. She really can't deal with it. Now, she says that she's had a negative experience before. And I have to admit that I actually I felt a little bit of a ways when she said that. And I'm not even a religious person. But after hearing out the video and kind of getting an idea of exactly, you know, where she was coming from, kind of, because she was still a little bit vague, but I kind of got it. So, let's go ahead and get into this clip real quick.
I'm less and less interested in religious men, if I'm being honest with you. I told Paul this the other day. I don't know. You hit me with the man of God thing. But
you say God a lot on your podcast.
God?
Yeah, you be like, God, oh my God.
Oh my God. No.
Oh my God is different.
Oh my God is different than being a
God.
man of God. If you're leading, I don't know. I've just had some. I've had some negative experiences with people that lead with their religion.
Are you religious?
Real quick, and I don't want to pause it too much, but she does have a point there, you know, having some negative experiences with people who lead with their religion. The people who lead with their religion, they do it in a way which is very arrogant, condescending. It's kind of how modern women talk to modern men. You know, they're very arrogant, very condescending. It's exactly the same, actually. It's exactly the same. But when people try to put their religion, they put their religion first, they lead with their religion, and they pretty much are telling you that your entire life is just wrong. And, you know, that's a hard pill to swallow, because in a lot of cases, especially throughout the last few thousand years of history with religion, we've seen that a lot of people have led with religion and justified atrocities on human life. So, you know, there's some meat and potatoes to what she's saying in that regard, as far as when you lead with your religion, some people can be turned off a bit, especially in today's world.
Are you religious?
Not really. No. So I would say I'm a person of faith, but I'm not. Okay. I was raised in a Baptist church, very, very religious family. I don't think that just because you're a Christian that you are, you know, not living a good life. I'm just saying, if that's the first thing that you bring to the table, it's a red flag for me, because
you feel like
I don't
they're hiding behind their religion.
I don't care. Why? What does this matter to me?
Happened with that before. That's what that happened.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have a trigger behind that.
I do.
Sure. Yeah,
I do.
Yeah,
I absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm acknowledging. I'm triggered by this, and it's become a red flag for me.
Wow.
I'm not saying that if you believe in God that you are a red flag. I also don't give a fuck. So just tell somebody else about it. I think
this woman here is very much a modern woman, you know. And other clips that I've seen of this particular woman, she's on this show, she is definitely pretty vulgar. and she definitely curses a lot. That's for me, when a woman curses a lot like that, it is a bit of a turn off, and I don't mind it too much. But when you're cursing like a sailor and your voice gets deep when you start to curse, it is a bit of a turn off, man. Ladies shouldn't really be carrying themselves like that. And to be honest, this woman, from the clip that I've seen on this show, the clips I've seen of this show of her and her personality, she does seem like a person that she might turn me off with the cursing, but there's other things that she says and how she's been carrying herself in this particular episode that would suggest that she may be a person that I can actually talk to. She seems real easygoing, and I tend to gravitate towards women like that. But the cursing is a bit much, and she says some other things that kind of threw me off. But again, based off of the clips that I've seen on this show, she seems like a woman that me personally, the personality traits I could probably have a conversation with, and we might actually get along. Of course, there'll be some bumps and bruises here and there. What relationship wouldn't? But this particular woman with this mindset throughout the show, and I encourage you to go check this show out. I'll leave a link to it in the description. But this episode, she seemed with this type of mindset. She is still a modern woman. Let's not get it twisted. But based off of this, and she could be putting on a front for the show, but based off what she's been saying, I might be able to work with that. But let's continue.
I think for some men, they think that that's what women are looking for, looking for a good Christian man.
Yeah.
And some people are, but just not me. So
but this is my thing about religion too. Like man may not lead with it, but some men needed to pull them out of places. Like when there's nothing else. Like I felt like religion helped me pull me out of some dark places. Mm-hmm. And I believe
religion or faith.
Faith, probably faith,
right?
More so than
because to me those are two different things.
Okay,
believing in God, having spirituality, having a connection with your spiritual side, praying. All of those things I do.
Yeah.
But
same. But religion is different.
To lead with let's go to church on Sunday.
I'm Christian, I'm Catholic, I'm Baptist, whatever it is, that's your religion. Versus I'm a man of faith because I pray, I believe in a higher power.
Isn't this the same woman that was on, the woman in yellow? That's the same woman that was with Ace Metaphor, right? I believe. Yeah, I don't know what it. I don't like this woman. I don't like her at all. She's just loud. As soon as she starts to talk, you it's like my ears hurt. Am I the only one that thinks that way when she? I don't know, man.
Your power,
but also for me, I feel like a lot of people a lot of men that are extremely religious think that if we get together, that I'm gonna start doing that, and I'm not.
Mm-hmm. So, right there. That's where the modern woman piece comes out of. Now, does this bleed into other areas? She's just not gonna follow the man? I don't know, but. Given a religion, when it's a religious man, she's not following him into the church and things like that. So she has a hard no when it comes to that. But I wonder, does this bleed over into other things? Because yes, she is a modern woman. She's a modern woman. In a world where now men are saying, what the hell with the traditional shit, I'm gonna be a modern man. Honestly, a modern woman like this and a modern man could possibly get along if they understand what time it is. She seems like she would. Her mindset, I don't know about her specifically, but what she's saying, that mindset, if a woman has that, yes, you have your hard nose, but if you have your hard nose, you are a modern woman, but understanding that you're going to be dealing with modern men, you might be able to pull it off. And she's going to kind of get into that just in a second.
Church in a minute, but I pray.
Yeah.
And I have faith. Yeah.
Which you're a man of, you're a spiritual man.
You're a spiritual person.
Yeah.
And we all have a spiritual side in some way or another.
Yeah.
But spirituality and faith and religion to me are two different things. But it is a trigger for me, so I understand that it's going to sound crazy to people. I don't know. I obviously want somebody kind. I don't fight with anybody. I'm not fighting with anyone about anything. Ever.
Ever.
What would we fight about? What would we fight about? What do we have to fight about? What is the problem?
So if there's an issue, then
we have a conversation, and then we make a decision about what we're doing at the end of this conversation, and then that is that. I'm not raising my voice. I'm not getting to a place of anger. I'm not going back and forth with you. I'm not going through your phone. I'm not going through your car. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with that.
I went through a dude's phone.
Oh, of course I have.
Yeah, but once you've done it, you don't ever want to ruin your day like that again.
Of course I have. But I would never touch someone's phone that I was
Me
dating.
either.
If I felt like I needed to go through your phone, it's over anyway.
It's over. Why do I have to go through your phone? That's an invasion of privacy, first of all.
Yeah. That last bit there is why I would say that she might be able to work with a modern man. Nobody wants, especially men, but nobody really wants to come home to a bunch of arguments and you're going through phones. You go like, come on, man. A lot of the stuff that you may read in the text message might come off, especially without context, come off wrong. There's a lot of relationships that have been ended because of a phone. And if you look online, women are a lot more guilty of this shit, of having secrets on their phone than men. Women are a lot more guilty, and they just don't like to admit it. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna take this too much further than that. But I thought this was an interesting clip to talk about, especially with the modern woman mindset regarding religious men, because you hear them all the time talking about, well, when a man is, I want a man that's, believes in God and things like that. But a lot of these women don't even want to follow the good book themselves, but they want the man to follow it because they really still want men to be traditional men while they get to be modern women. But it's a new day. And Paul Pierce, in this show, he mentioned that, not in this clip, but he mentioned it in another episode where, he says, modern men, especially men with money, they just not dealing with it. Nonsense no more. Like, these women want things to be the old way, and it's not happening. We saw what was going on with the Gen Xers and the Gen X men who are still looking good, and have their shit together, got their money and stuff like that, especially the ones who do have actually money, not just, a couple $1,000s, but they got a few $100,000, access to a few $100,000, maybe a couple $1 million net worth. And the Gen X women, some of them still look good, but most of them are out of pocket. Most of them are not worthy anymore or never were. And these men now have options, and now they're like, what the hell? And they don't like it. The Gen X women don't like it. Even the older millennials don't like it. But it's a new day. And the modern man is here and is beginning to assert himself. And Gen X women and millennial women especially, don't like it because they thought they would be able to just come in and do as they've always done, as women as well, as their moms and aunties have always done. And it's just not going to fly no more. So, anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Until the next one, y'all be easy.